everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today, as you saw in the thumbnail, we're going to talk about indexing or phasing your drive shaft. So here was my situation. I need to get a new drive shaft for my car, and when I put it in, now I drag race, when I clicked into third gear, it started to vibrate around 85, 86 miles an hour. Did it every time. So what I had to do was take the drive shaft out, spin it 180 degrees and put it back in, and then the vibration went away. But let me show you on a whiteboard here, as well as my little demo as you saw, what I'm talking about by phasing a drive shaft, because there's, you can phase it at the front at the transmission, you can phase it at the back at the differential, depending on which yoke you have, and some possibilities of other things that could also be causing your vibration. All right, guys, so it does not matter if you have this style going into the end of your transmission, or if you have this style, for example, at the end of your transmission, for example, like a transfer case or something. Or if this is at your rear end, or if you have this style of yoke on your rear end. Now, obviously, if you have the last style of yoke on the rear end, you can only rotate it 180 degrees and try that at the rear end. But this is more for at the transmission. So what I like to do is put the plus sign there represents my U-joint. My starting point is I'll take the drive shaft out, spin it 180 degrees, put it back in, and then drive it, see if it goes away. If it doesn't go away, spin it 90 more degrees, okay, put it back in, drive it, see what happens, and then spin it 180 degrees from there. That way, you've really hit all four positions to see what happens. So, that's where you can take this style of yoke, put it in, like I said, do that, spin it 180, spin it 90, then spin it another 180. And that way you've kind of tried all the positions. And the same holds true, whether you have this at your transmission or this at your rear end. You can unbolt this, right, and try it in the four positions as well. But if you have that other style yoke where your U-joint bolts to the flange, obviously you can only rotate it 180 degrees. So what this phasing does is allows you to try different positions. And that's why it's important to mark before you pull your drive shaft out. If you're using an existing drive shaft and you're doing a repair, to mark your drive shaft and your yoke and at both ends, to make sure when you put it back in, you're putting it back in at the same spot, because the chances are if you move it, you could get a vibration. Then you need to walk through and try this different steps. Now, let's say you've done that, and one thing I would also check though is before you try phasing the drive shaft is mark it so you know where your starting and ending point is. But if you happen to just recently replace the U-joint, how tight is the U-joint? Does it move nice and free? Or is it like you're really struggling to move it? If you're struggling to really move it, give it a whack with a hammer on the, on the end here, not on the U-joint itself, but on the ends. And a lot of times what will happen is because you pressed it in, it kind of, I guess for better, it causes a lot of tension. That's the word I'm looking for, tension on the caps here. And then by giving it a whack, you release that tension, and then your U-joint will turn nice and free, for example, okay? If you did a lift kit on your truck, well, then obviously, I don't say obviously, but your driveline angles could be off. You may need to adjust your driveline angle, because if you have something that goes like that, right, real steep drive shaft change, that can create a vibration issue. You need to maintain certain driveline angles, and that's, totally separate, discussion. From there, you need to check like your outshaft bushing on your transmission. Is your outshaft bushing all worn out? Check your yoke on your rear end. Not this yoke on the drive shaft, but the yoke on the rear end itself. Has it got a lot of play and movement? Is it leaking oil out the seal? Maybe you've got, bad bearings in your rear end or something, that's causing other issues. But, if you just, for example, got a new drive shaft in your car, I would go through this procedure at the front. You could do this same thing if you have this style in the back as well as the front. Like I said, and then if you have basically the bolt-in yoke in the rear end, you only have a 180-degree flip that you can do there. So guys, I hope this short little video kind of gives you an idea about phasing or indexing your drive shaft if you have a vibration. And you got a new drive shaft, but you didn't change anything else. That's what I did. I turned mine 180 degrees in my car in a parking lot at a hotel that night, and the problem went away. So, I got lucky where I didn't have to, take it back to a drive shaft shop, have them double check the balance again. And when I had my drive shaft made, I took them the yoke, for example, and they installed the yoke and balanced it with the yoke and everything. So, that's another thing. If you just bought a drive shaft off the internet, and for example, and you didn't have the yoke that goes into the transmission, and now you have vibration issues, you may need to take the yoke to a drive shaft shop, have them local to you, balance it, and see if that makes a difference. That's just another thought. So those are just a few things, you need to consider when phasing your drive shaft or indexing it if you happen to have a vibration issue. So I hope this gave you a little idea of something you can do and check to see if you have any issues. So I appreciate y'all watching. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you on a future upload.